Okay, we're continuing from the Hidden History of Nutrition and Health Science by me, Pete Rogers. The scientist here is Santiago Ramon Cajal, and he developed staining techniques to stain brain neurons, and then he would draw them out to map their connections. And this was helpful for developing an understanding of how the brain is interconnected, how the brain works, and for information theory, understanding synapses. Okay. And here is Madame Curie and her husband, Pierre Curie. Okay, they're working together in France. She is from Poland. They won a Nobel Prize in physics for their work on radioactivity. She won another Nobel Prize for research on polonium and radium. Okay, one of the greatest female scientists of all time. Here is Thomas Edison, and he was another great genius of science. He was a jerk to Tesla, which I don't like, but he did do a lot of great things in science. He had a good laboratory. They developed the phonograph for long-playing LP records, electrical power generation with direct current. Tesla and Westinghouse were better. They did it with alternating current, but still, those were big improvements. He developed, of course, the light bulb, the movie camera, motion picture camera, and a lot of other stuff. So, again, where does this come from? It comes from the United States, okay? It comes from Christian men trying to achieve new things. And it's good that they had a copyright, they had a patent. That motivated somebody to invent something because you could profit off it. Why do all that work if you're gonna have the profit taken away from you? Okay, now of course here's Tesla, one of the smartest people who ever lived. A lot smarter than Edison. He wasn't that business smart, but he's the big developer of alternating current and a whole bunch of other advanced electrical technologies. He also probably was the inventor of the radio, even though Marconi got the credit for it. He's from Serbia. Okay, Nikola Tesla. He wasn't very good socially. You know, he never got married, never had kids. He actually said one time, you don't see too many things invented by married guys. And it's also true that, you know, when a guy gets married, he typically has kids. And because of the kids, he's got to move to the suburbs. So he's got a long commute to work. And then he needs to make more money to keep the wife and kids happy. So he's distracted with all that social stuff. Whereas a guy who's single, he can just focus on his inventions and his creation, so he's got a lot more time to work. He doesn't need much money. Okay, here's Westinghouse, who was a good guy. He was partners with Tesla, and they sort of helped each other. They developed the alternating electrical current system that lit up the World's Fair, the Columbian Exposition in Chicago around 1890 or something like that. And that proved basically that alternating current was the way to go on a large scale. He helped invent the railway airway brake. He was a pioneer in the distribution, along with Tesla, for getting the alternating current out to businesses and homes. So that's the famous Westinghouse company. I used to hear a lot about that when I was a kid growing up. Okay, here's another one of these engineers. And you see, it's all a bunch of white Christian men. That's just a fact, okay? And, you know, now there's all this multiculturalism trying to pretend they didn't do anything, that white Christian men are a bunch of evil, racist colonialists, and they should all be scapegoated and destroyed and removed from the planet. Yeah, it's going to be a slavery planet after that happens. And unfortunately, that's the way things are going. But people should know the real history. You don't have to take my word for it. Just open up some books and start looking, and you'll see that this has been documented, all this stuff, for a long time. For hundreds of years, this has been known. Okay, so this guy, Joseph Nicephore Niepce, I don't even know how to pronounce his name, from France. He was inventor of the photography camera. Okay, here's George Eastman, inventor of the roll film for the photography camera and the founder of the Eastman Kodak photography company. They were pretty big, but they screwed up with the digital cameras, and so they sort of went down after that. But they were another big company when I was a young guy. And here is Marconi, the Italian guy, and he's the one who got credit for the radio invention, whereas a lot of people think it was really Tesla who should have gotten more credit. But still, you know, he's another great engineer, this guy from Italy. Okay, here's John Logie Baird, a Scottish engineer. And like I said, there's tons of really smart Scottish engineers. Electrical engineer, he's one of the co-inventors of television, developer of color television. So these are the guys who did everything. It's these nerdy guys, okay? And I knew guys like this at Stanford, really smart, really nerdy, study all the time. They're not social guys. They're academic study guys. You don't invent things by being popular. You invent things by sitting around studying and reading and thinking all the time. Here's another one of them. American Mormon, Philo Farnsworth. He invented an improved version of the black and white TV. He had 300 patents, invented a nuclear fusion device. Real smart. Again, these are like the kind of guys I'd hang around with at Stanford. Real nerdy, intense, and smart. Okay, well, we're going to leave it at that for today. I hope you found that helpful.